Welcome back to our podcast, Let's Talk About Labor. This podcast aims to help farmers and ag businesses connect with other ag businesses specifically to hear and learn about their experiences and challenges related to labor and the strategies they have used to overcome these challenges. We talk about various topics such as U.S. temporary foreign visa programs, mechanization and automation, and worker recruitment and retention strategies, among other topics. Different agencies and organizations have partnered with us to make this podcast possible, including the Southern Risk Management Education Center, Gap Connections, the U.S. Department of Agriculture SCRI program, and the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. This podcast will not be possible without the participation of farmers and ag businesses. My name is Margarita Velandia, and I'm a professor in the Department of Agricultural and Resource Economics at the University of Tennessee. Annette?
And my name's Annette Waslacki, and I'm a professor in the Department of Plant Sciences, and I'm the Commercial Vegetable Extension Specialist at the University of Tennessee.
So today we'll have the pleasure to have our guest, Julie Vaughn, owner of Rocky Glade Farm in Eglintonville, Tennessee. She will discuss with us the production strategies she has used to overcome labor challenges, specifically speaking in detail about those that have helped her optimize labor use. Welcome, Julie, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
All right,
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Julie, I'm going to jump right in with some questions. So first, could you tell us a little bit about your farm operation, including how many years you've been in business and the size of your operation, the crops that you grow, and your market outlets that you use or have used to sell your produce, and the number of employees that you have or have had in the past? If you've had
Absolutely.
any.
Yes. So my husband and I got married in 1998, and we began Rocky Glade Farm that same year. We now farm a total of around 70 acres with 10 or so acres in vegetable production, which is a mix of high intensity production as well as field crop production. We currently have 3 covered structures that are 35 by 144, 4-season hoop houses. They're unheated, passive solar. And we also have 8 caterpillar tunnels, the 20 by 100s. We also have field production for crops like broccoli and sweet potatoes and winter squash. And then we have raised beds that we use for high intensity production for carrots and storage radishes, storage turnips, things that we'll store over winter. We also grow summer crops. Mostly those are cash crops for the summertime, and most of our summer growing is used to grow things for the fall, winter, and spring sales because that's our target season. Whenever we first started farming, we mainly marketed through farmers markets, but now we are 75% direct to restaurants in the Nashville area. And about 25% of our sales are on farm through CSA and on farm, like online sales that are picked up on the farm. When we marketed mainly to the farmers markets, we had a summer CSA, and we needed some extra help in the summertime. Our kids were little, and so we utilized some student help but from Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro. Usually we would talk to the professors and they would send us 3 to 4 students that were interested in summer work, which was full-time during the summer. And then we would keep 1 to 2 of them part-time to help us through the winter. Currently, we have no labor beyond our family. We have 4 boys. The oldest one has moved out and he's on his own. The second oldest, he is 18 and he'll be headed to college in the fall. And then we have 2 13-year-olds. So pretty soon we're about to find ourselves in a very different position where we have no other drivers except myself and Jim. So family labor for us is the reason that we have chosen that through the years, since we swapped our production, is just that we have aging parents close by that we have to take care of, managing our kids' schedules. And then we also homeschool all of our boys. So we need that flexibility. It's really hard for us to have employees that we have to be with all the time during the workday. So that's why we've chosen family labor.
That's excellent, Julie. And it seems like you're transitioning to that new stage of your boys heading out of the house. So I think it's important to, on this next question, for you to talk about a little bit about the production practices you have used or that you practice currently that you probably have changed or are currently using to optimize the use of labor. It seems like labor is limited for you. So let's talk about those maybe top 3 to 5 production practices that have made a difference on your farm in terms of generating the most output with the least amount of labor from the crops you grown and how you grow them and harvest them.
Okay. Well, I think first of all, the biggest one that's made the largest impact was to reduce our crop diversity. Not trying to grow so many different things, but we increase the diversity within that same crop, meaning that if a certain set of vegetables requires the same growing inputs needing to be trellised or can all be grown in a raised bed or something like that, we increase that diversity, but we don't grow anything that doesn't fit in that crop plan. Also, by not doing a summer CSA or the farmers market has allowed us to grow less variety, which gives us not as many different crops to manage. For us, peppers require the same production practices, basically the same nutrition and growing requirements. And then we manage the labor so that all of the peppers don't come in at the same time based on maturity dates. That allows us to plant many different kinds, kind of keep them in the same stage of development, requiring the same nutrition and labor practices. And then the maturity dates for those is because really harvesting peppers is where the labor comes in for us. And so we stagger that with our maturity dates on that crop. Another way that we feel like we have helped our labor situation is to grow large amounts of crops that can be stored for sale over a really long season. Things like sweet potatoes and winter squash. Again, yes, those are big crops to get harvested, but we can call on, our oldest boy to bring a friend or two and come back to the farm for a couple of Saturdays and get all of those sweet potatoes in instead of, needing full-time labor for that. And then I think anytime you can use covered structures like the greenhouses or hoop houses or caterpillar tunnels, I think that's very beneficial as far as your labor because you're going to have less crop damage due to weather. So whatever labor you put in it, you're going to get more out of it. Another big thing with that is being able to work the ground anytime that you want to. You don't have to worry about if it's raining or too wet, too muddy. Pretty much it's ready to go whenever you have a chance to work on it. And then we can grow intensively. We can grow some high value crops in there, and then we have less crop waste. And also on the harvesting side, we can harvest anytime we want to. Again, that's not, we have to wait for the dew to come off or something like that before we harvest. We can basically get up in the morning and start harvesting.
Great. Thank you. Now, you've talked about how you have one boy that's grown and off the farm, but you bring him back for sweet potato season, and another one that's about to go off to college. How are you planning for that change over time and your access to labor? And if you don't mind, share with us some of the strategies that you've thought about to address the changes in labor.
Okay. So yes, for sure, we're thinking about it, and actually actively talking to other people to help us with solve our labor issues. So, um, a few of the things that we're looking at is trying to get some help from even some of our members of the CSA, who maybe they are stay-at-home moms, but their kids go to public school, and so we're looking at maybe working with some of them to come here and help us like start our seeds or move our plants up, from transplant stage to the next cell size and that kind of stuff with tomatoes and peppers. People who really just want 5 or 6 hours a week, but are reliable, where we can give them their own job and then they can work independently of us. They can come and go. We can show them what to do, but then after we show them what to do, they can set their own schedule. I think another thing that we've talked about is just getting more and more streamlined on crops, and anything that is too labor intensive, it really may have to go if the margins on that are low. So I think maybe really for the first time, we're really having to look hard at what crops do we make the most money on for what we put into them. Also, we are trying to make sure that our crop plantings are not too big for our crew that we're about to have, and that we can get across that crop in a timely manner, that we're not just going to put a bunch of labor into getting the crop in, but we're not going to be able to harvest that. So we're really looking at that again in detail this year. And then I'm not sure that um, I have a final answer as far as like exactly what our plans are, but we know that we're going to have flexibility. That is the main thing with parent care and homeschooling. Uh, we know that we have to remain flexible. So we don't have all the answers yet, but we're working on it. And I think that answer for us is mostly going to be in the form of part-time help. And I don't think that we're actually planning on a lot of that. If we can just kind of get through the log jams of the season, that would work for us.
Julie, these are very practical tips, very useful information that I know not only you are going through, but I bet other full-time farmers that are juggling the time between taking care of parents and other responsibilities are going to benefit from. Julie, thank you again for taking the time to talk with us. And I guess I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.